Hello, everyone. I believe I am live for today's session. My name is Madison. I'm the marketing coordinator at the Business Software Center. If you ever need to get in contact with me, please use my email you see on the screen here, info@businesssoftwarecenter.com. Or if you'd like to interact with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, please use my hashtag CoffeeTalkTBSC. We like to do our coffee talks every Tuesday at 3 o'clock London time. And if you ever miss a session, don't worry, we always post them on our YouTube channel afterwards. So yes, you can always find us hashtag CoffeeTalkTBSC on our social medias just to catch up. As a reminder, we always welcome questions and networking, so feel free to drop any questions in the chat box and I can answer them at the end of the session. So today's session, we are going to focus on benchmarking your Microsoft 365 applications. And so I'm just going to review exactly what benchmarking is and how to do that with Microsoft 365. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. What exactly is benchmarking? You know, if you're in business, you probably are familiar with this term. Maybe you're not so much familiar with it when it comes to benchmarking software, but I would say benchmarking in any type of form, whether it's a product or service or process, is something that's really essential into understanding how your business works and then how to set goals to make your business better in the future. So here, benchmarking is essentially a process that measures the quality and performance of your company's products, services, or processes. And so these measurements don't have much value on their own. So if you're just taking a random measurement just for the sake of doing something, that measurement might not mean much other than just provide a snapshot of where you're currently at. However, the way it becomes a benchmark is because you're going to start comparing yourself at that starting point and then working your way up. So yes, the data needs to be compared against some sort of standard in order for it to be considered a benchmark. And so why exactly should you benchmark? I would say, you know, it goes beyond a snapshot of where you're at. It's a way of collecting data and information, in particular with Microsoft 365, of course, it's a software evaluation. And so it will assess your company's technical applications, specifically with SaaS benchmarking. And when you do these benchmarks, you're able to set goals to make more informed decisions in the future. And of course, you can make adjustments as you go, but you can also build and manage your current processes, your team, and your software usage. So I would say, yes, the biggest thing that you can do whenever you decide to benchmark is set goals for your business and then obviously communicate it with the rest of your team so everyone is familiar with exactly where you see your company going and coming up with different ideas on how to apply the ways of achieving those goals. So whenever you benchmark software as a service, there's a few different ways that doing this will just be overall better for your business. And so today we're just going to look at Microsoft 365. So of course, whenever you do benchmark, you're going to get the best practices for your business. And what we've seen is whenever you figure out exactly where you're at today, in the long run, you can really increase your return on investment, whether that's finally using those subscriptions that you're paying for or reallocating those subscriptions to a different department for more usage. You really pay for the software you use and you use the software that you're paying for. So whenever you benchmark where you're at with Microsoft 365, return on investment definitely goes up. We've definitely seen that with our research. Of course, I did mention that usage with your applications will change once you start benchmarking and then implementing those solutions. And you know how I mentioned earlier about communicating with your staff? I think that's vital whenever you are benchmarking, especially with software. You know, with remote staff currently, everyone's just kind of all over the place. Some people aren't in the office, some people are working from home. So whenever you start doing these benchmarkings of Microsoft, it's really good to have your full usage of Microsoft Teams. That way you can boost communication, explain the goals that you have for your business, etc. Of course, you can manage the usage. You can manage who needs training or not on these certain applications. And I'll go on that in a bit more detail. And of course, whenever you benchmark your Microsoft 365, it prepares you for any sort of audits that might happen, whether you're using on-premise, a hybrid, or strictly cloud Microsoft. Being prepared for audits is always a good thing. You know, it is in our licensing agreements that Microsoft has the capabilities of performing an audit, and this isn't to be scary or anything, it's just being prepared and making sure you're in compliance with your licensing agreement. So that's why they perform these audits. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the research that we conducted over the pandemic. And so with this research, we did focus on remote staff and office staff, and we did look over a wide variety of different organizations like tech, education, retail, just different business sectors. And so how did we measure this usage? How did we actually benchmark these businesses? Well, we used our tool Smarter SaaS, which has been in development for quite some time, and it's really great at giving a detailed Microsoft 365 usage analysis, and we developed it with end users and businesses in mind. So yes, that's how we were actually able to pool this information for this presentation here. And so our biggest findings were that 89% of organizations are not fully using their Microsoft 365 apps. And so there you go, 89% is a big number, which means they're clearly not getting a return on investment at this point. They might be overpaying for the licenses. They're just simply not using what they're paying for. And so we also found that 11% of users are fully utilized. Only 11% are fully using all of the applications in their subscription. So a question you can ask yourself is, do we really need to pay for these subscriptions with all these applications? Can we downgrade our licenses perhaps? And what is really interesting here, you know how I mentioned earlier with audits and compliance, we did find that 5% of remote employees are non-compliant. So that means, you know, specifically with Microsoft 365, typically you only get 5 installs, or you're only allowed 5 installs with your license. And so we found that remote employees are installed on more than 5 devices. And so we can help you implement solutions on how to make sure you stay compliant. And then finally, 43% of users do not use Teams based off of our research using Smarter SaaS. And this is extremely dangerous, especially if you have remote staff. You really should be using the applications that you have. And so that's why benchmarking is a really good tool to help you find out exactly where you are in the now, and of course, implementing those solutions. So exactly where do you stand? Now here we have come up with this really fun efficiency chart, and you can see that in the red, most customers are there. So whenever we perform our efficiency health checks, our Microsoft health checks, we find a lot of businesses are in the red. And so our goal at the Business Software Center is to bring you up into the green. And how exactly we do that is, of course, we walk you step by step through the data and help you with solutions, etc. But at the same time, you know, Microsoft really wants you to be at least 95% efficiency or better. And so there's different ways of getting there, but I would say the best and easiest way is, of course, using our Smarter SaaS solution. So I'm just going to review exactly what our Smarter SaaS does for Microsoft 365 and show you how you can get a free trial of it today. So how to achieve the best practices with Smarter SaaS. Now, of course, I did go over this a bunch of times already, but setting goals is an absolute must. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. You have to keep up with the changes, and you really have to set goals and create new areas of exploration for your business. And different ways that you can do that is certainly by measuring the usage that you currently have with your applications, identify the variances that you have. And of course, to achieve those goals, you must implement solutions. And some of those solutions may involve subscription recycling, providing the correct training for your employees, or even providing the right facilities for your employees. So an example of a right facility would be, say that somebody isn't using Teams to the best of their ability. Maybe implementing some sort of audio-visual equipment will help them actually use their Microsoft Teams a bit better and more efficient. So this is where I talk about the efficiency health check. Now, this is a free health check that we have for you. It's available on our website, businesssoftwarecenter.com, or you can find us on Microsoft AppSource or Marketplace for free download. And as I said, it is a perfect benchmarking tool for you to really give you a snapshot of exactly where your business is at, where savings opportunities are, training needs done, surplus amounts, reharvesting amounts, all your subscription information and all your usage details we can get for you for free. And so this free trial is really nice because what it does is it provides up to 180 days usage analysis. So what you can do is, say if you start today, you can backtrack the past 180 days and really see exactly where the usage was over the past 180 days. And you can use that information to benchmark where your business was at, where you are now, and then of course implement those goals to increase your ROI, increase your usage, etc. for the future. Now we do give a complete license overview, and we show you, you know, the compliance as well with that, which is really important. And what's really easy is this is only a 10-minute setup. It's all remotely, so we do it all through web URL and a phone call. So it's a really easy solution, and we think you might as well just go ahead and sign up for it. So if you're interested in just getting a free benchmark, you know, no obligation. It's on Microsoft App Source and Marketplace. You can see I have a screenshot of it here. You just click the Get Now button, and you have the free trial installed directly onto your computer, or, you know, access it through the web URL. So I'm just going to go ahead and check and see if we have any questions coming in. Yes, so I do have just one question. It says, earlier you mentioned SaaS. Does this product measure beyond Microsoft? I have other SaaS applications that I would like to track and monitor with my business. So yeah, it really depends on what SaaS product that you have, but with our smarter SaaS solution, of course, I just primarily focused on Microsoft 365, but we are able to track and monitor different SaaS applications. You know, say for instance, you're using Adobe products, we can track Adobe, we can do Salesforce. Yeah, we have a list of over 40 different applications that we can track and monitor for you. So I would say if you are interested, please email me info@businesssoftwarecenter.com, or even get in contact with us through our website, contact us, and we can get you set up with something certainly. But yes, thank you for your question. Yes, we can certainly help with anything involving SaaS applications, because we have quite a big list that we can help you out with. All right, so we are coming to the end of our coffee talk. Thank you for that question. I do just want to remind everyone that our next coffee talk is next Tuesday, and we're actually going to review some audio and visual equipment, what you can do to improve your Microsoft Teams that way. So please come join us for our coffee talk next week. You can sign up for free on Eventbrite or even through LinkedIn. Yeah, and we have the rest of the spring coffee talk series to look forward to. So thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, bye.